Show me your news!
And now, coming through your speakers and into your ears, it's the gaming podcast that you all know and love. It's Show Me Your News!
Your favorite Super Smash Bros. Brawl podcast from 2007 continues to cover the latest in the video game industry at ShowMeYourNews.com. Now, let's join the show. Welcome to Show Me Your News, the pinnacle for delivering and debating the gaming news that matters the most to you.
Rumor-filled gossip, hardware blunders, or upcoming releases. If it relates to video games, we want to talk about it.
I am Peter, but you may know me as Youko, and I am downloading PT today, and so should all of you.
I am Rachel, but you may know me as Eevee, and I am high on lots of fruit sugars.
We are part of the SMYN network at ShowMeYourNews.com, and today is Sunday, April 26th, 2015, and this is episode 178 of the podcast.
Woo!
Well, Ben decided to go fishing with his family, or more, he was dragged there under his will, and Joe had a hard drive issue. So even though they are the permanent co-hosts of this show now, they cannot make it this week, so we had to call upon a guest. He's going to be here during E3, and it's always a great time to have him there. Big friend and fan of the show, Solid Snake 120. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you very much for having me on. It's always fun to come and chat with you guys and interact and talk about news stories with gaming. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I mean, looking forward to E3. It's going to be like a month and a half away.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, we're hoping that Rachel gets to be out here for that, and we're going to have a great time with all these new press conferences popping. I know, so many of them popping up. Well, let's start the show. Rachel, show me your news.
So, I wanted to go down the Marvel route today because I very recently watched the Avengers Age of Ultron. We got it about a week or so early over here in the UK.
That's right, it is not out yet in the United States.
So, I won't be spoiling anything, just to give a heads up. There will be no spoilers from me. But before I talk about the movie, I wanted to go into the gaming side of Marvel, which is Marvel and Telltale Games are partnering up for a 2017 console game.
Whoa.
And they haven't really let on what it is, so I'd like to discuss maybe what we would all think it would be. Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I love the Telltale games, all of them, besides, Jurassic Park. Besides that game.
Well, yeah, in Jurassic Park. And Back to Future, they did a little bit better. Walking Dead's where they hit their stride, but yeah, Wolf Among Us, Game of Thrones, Tales from the Borderlands. Like, they're really getting into it. They've had big donations from different people with venture capital to really grow and expand that game studio. And I think they have to fix the engine first, to be honest. I don't know how much in the future, into 2017, that the same Telltale engine can really hold its own.
Right. I mean, there's going to have to be some developments before they bring out a big partnered game like that. I mean, when you think Marvel games, you think, there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of fighting, a lot of like that first person thing, and then to shift that onto almost like a third person perspective, like say you're walking around like Lee would be in The Walking Dead, but you're Thor or Iron Man or things like that. I think it'd be an interesting game to have a Telltale game like that with being, with Marvel, but I don't think it'll be what people expect. They've got to have something else up their sleeves.
That's true. But Telltale has been getting the bigger contracts lately. Not only with Marvel recently, but, was it last year? When did the Minecraft news come out?
That's
They're
very
doing
true.
Minecraft story mode. So, you almost wonder, are they putting too much on themselves? Will they be able to deliver a Marvel story with as big as the cinematic universe is getting? And you almost wonder if that in itself is going to get to a point where it's too big to fail, or if something's going to just bring it all crashing down with just all these superhero movies that they have, coming out and planned.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this has actually given me a whole massive sense of deja vu, since we were talking very similarly about Telltale games, about Minecraft, and also about Game of Thrones before, about how are they going to cope? Are they taking too much on? They've got to be hiring more people to work on their games, seriously, to get all this out.
With it being a adventure kind of game and not super action heavy, I would almost be curious if you don't necessarily follow an actual hero. Because, I mean, with Marvel games, when you play as a hero, you expect to be able to use the hero's powers and things like that. What if they instead did it, you're like a detective or someone in the Marvel universe that has to interact with the heroes, but it's more of a story kind of mystery angle to it that would be more in line with a lot of other Telltale games, things like that.
I have a way that would work, considering that these two particular heroes don't exactly have powers, and that would be Black Widow and Hawkeye, because all they're doing is just firing projectiles. They don't exactly have powers.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe it's going back to that battle that they had, or whatever war they were in, that kind of forged their friendship relationship, and that would be interesting.
I mean, I could definitely see them doing a shield geared one, but
yeah, that's entirely possible as well. So, Avengers, Age of Ultron. How excited should we be, Rachel?
I think you should be very, very, very excited. I can see where people would probably prefer the first movie to this movie. There's a lot of additional character introduction going on. I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that. But I actually preferred Age of Ultron to the first movie. It kept my attention more with the action sequences as well, because I always felt that in the first movie they were damn impressive and they were damn cool, but some of them felt like they dragged on a little bit too long. Just might be me. I don't know, my own personal preference. And in this movie, when the movie ended, I had no idea that much time had gone by, and I was like, oh, okay, I only feel like I've been here for 5 minutes. What's going on? It's a really good movie. It's good to see everyone back together again, and they really do act well together in this movie, just like everyone's gelling so well. It's a great performance that everyone's got together to do this with. There's definitely some parts that I wasn't expecting. I'm not exactly a massive Marvel follower. I haven't got comic books or anything like that. But there are definitely parts that I wasn't expecting, and just little how thrown in here and there. But it's a very good watch. It was a very, very good watch.
Interesting. And yeah, it makes you think for 2017, how close are they going to be, with Civil War and then Infinity War? That game kind of might fall right in between that for Telltale. I wonder, we think it's probably going to be some sort of background story because, if you're getting a hero, it's, paying for a lot of voice work. They may do, some cameos and all that, but I think it's more of Telltale's route, just like they're doing with Game of Thrones, to kind of tell, an understory here.
Possibly.
That'd
But
be really
Telltale, do us a favor. Make a good Deadpool game. That'd be great.
They're making Deadpool?
No,
Telltale should not make a Deadpool game, period.
There already is a Deadpool game out, and it sucks.
Yeah, that action one from, was it 2012? That was...
Yeah, I was just asking them to make a good one because that one sucks so hard.
Oh. Well, we gotta just first hope that the Deadpool movie comes together well. But, with Ryan Reynolds, Marina Baccarin, it should be...
I think that's going to be
looking
great.
good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. No, especially with that screen test there. That was about a year or so ago.
Actually, it was only this afternoon when I was reading up some of the tweets that Ryan Reynolds was sending out Deadpool style today, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I'm quite looking forward to him playing Deadpool when the movie comes out. I think it's going to be a fantastic one. I will definitely want to see that in the movie theater.
Yeah, very interesting.
Definitely.
Back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, something else I read was that Kevin Feige, who's the kind of creative director behind Marvel and the Cinematic Universe right now, and kind of one of their top execs, was saying that he's a big Star Wars fan, and with Phase 2 of the MCU, it's kind of like, their Empire Strikes Back. So apparently, and some different websites jumped on this, that each movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for Phase 2 has a character's arm chopped off at one point to follow with Empire Strikes Back. And so, of course, they were saying, we know what it is in Avengers Age of Ultron, but we won't say for spoilers. Of course, not saying any spoilers. Did that become apparent, Rachel, after first watching it, or is it probably a little more hidden of an Easter egg?
It was a little more hidden of an Easter egg to me. I didn't notice that.
Interesting. Something to keep an eye out. That
people are going to kill me.
Someone gets their arm cut off.
I wonder.
But then again, in Thor: The Dark World, that was apparently done in a dream sequence. So Like, it could be done, but, no lasting ramifications, so.
Just thinking back to, it's not exactly a very big scene, really, with him or anything, but I enjoyed Andy Serkis in The Age of Ultron. I thought he was very amusing.
He's in that.
Yeah. I won't say who, but it was very amusing to see him in there, actually.
Suddenly Gollum shows up. My precious.
My precious Ultron. And Ultron was a hoot.
James Spader is quite the actor.
He
I'm really
is.
looking forward to that performance.
Yeah, it's a good performance. I always thought from watching the trailers he was just going to be dead serious and it's like, no, I got a good few fucking laughs out of that guy.
Very interesting.
Nice.
Any final thoughts on Telltale Marvel partnership for 2017?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring out in 2017, and will be a good experience to play alongside yourself as well, Peter.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what universe they tackle, that they really delve into, because they might not necessarily go with the cinematic universe for the Telltale game. They could go with, well, Ultimate's no longer existing, but they could go with more of the comic vibe instead of the cinematic universe, which a comic book looking Telltale game could be really cool.
That is a very good point. Yeah, they're coming up with the new Avengers there in the Ultimate sort of universe in the comics. You do have things like Daredevil on Netflix, which were a big success, and maybe only tangentially tied into the cinematic universe. So, yeah, definitely a lot possible. We'll have to look forward to it when that comes out. All right, so I am a big music game fan. I love playing Guitar Hero. I love playing Rock Band, and now both games, as have been rumored for a long time, are officially coming back. And we talked about Rock Band 4 is being confirmed as a thing last episode. This time around, Guitar Hero Live got the reveal, and quite the different look, I must say. I appreciate that the two games are going to be different. It's not going to be the same like, we're both trying to compete in the band space, and you're going to have to buy both these sets of peripherals, because that would easily just crash the entire music game genre market again with, both of them going, heavy hitting at the same time. But it looks like Guitar Hero is going the more arcadey solo route with just the guitar, which I like. But more importantly, Rock Band is going to take the whole band focus, group play. And, not much is probably going to change on that front, though we haven't seen gameplay yet of Rock Band 4, where we have here of Guitar Hero Live, and that's going to be interesting to see how that develops at E3. Guitar Hero Live, though, 3 strings on the highway fretboard, and with pick-shaped notes that are either white or black, because the guitar is entirely redesigned. You're going to have to learn essentially how to play this Guitar Hero from scratch, because you have a 3 long, 2 wide array on the guitar fretboard, as opposed to the 5 long, 1 wide array on the other games from the past. So you're going to be doing a lot of, just your 3 main fingers, your index, your middle, your ring finger, and then going back and forth between the 2. So that's going to take a lot of readjustment, I think. That kind of shakes things up, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think that would actually make things easier, because when it's come to things like Guitar Hero and Rock Band and things like that, I always play guitar because I suck at the drums and I sing it. But when it comes to the guitar, I'm always on hardest mode, so I can just use all 5 fingers. But it does get to be a little bit of a stretch. I have tiny hands. I have really small hands.
And so this redesign is going to be advantageous for that.
For me, yes, definitely. So that'll definitely make things a lot easier. But I do like the design of how it looks. It looks like it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for me. But the guitar looks cool.
It does look pretty cool.
So cool. I mean, it looks like, oh hey, it actually looks like a real guitar. Oh no, wait, no, you can't play on that. What are you trying to do?
I mean, it's pretty original. They don't have any partnership deals this time around for a Les Paul look or something like that, but it looks pretty sharp, and yeah, you're going to be able to definitely do chords with this, different combinations of these 6 buttons.
I'll be really interested to see if people are on board with trying the kind of changed, revamped Guitar Hero, or if they'll pretty much just stay with what they know and support more of the Rock Band angle.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't know if I'm still ready for brand new music and Guitar Hero games quite yet. I still feel a little bit burned out just with this smorgasbord that was the 2011, like 2010s
Just
or whatever.
Big old blitz they had, yeah.
I don't know. I think it'll be fun to play. I will enjoy coming over to your place and trying it out. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I'll jump on the bandwagon quite yet. I'm definitely interested in the revamp that they're doing with Guitar Hero. I think it needs to have some sort of change, like you were saying, Pete.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll have further impressions come E3 when I see more of it, kind of thing. So
Right. And because the early impression that they were really trying to push is that, certain songs will have this sort of live vibe, which a lot of people who are getting hands-on impressions were saying, like, it's a totally different feel. You can't just judge on the YouTube video. You have to play it because it's more of a first-person camera instead of like, camera's just looking at this character playing guitar in the background behind the highway. It's more of a first-person look out at a crowd in different music venues. So
watching them tell you that you suck.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's a clever way how they adjust those because if you get, to certain levels of, how much you're rocking or how much you are not, it kind of does this little video pulse looking thing. And that's how they kind of mask the dissolve between the two. And it must have been a really interesting way of filming these different scenes because you have to maintain the same camera movements and that all has to be very scripted and very similar. And then you're just having the crowd act in different ways. And that's how you're dissolving perfectly between the two. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that is executed, though there's only going to be so many songs that's going to work for. And that's why they have Guitar Hero TV, which is going to be more of their platform. And that's going to be where their music videos in the background, where then you can play along with on the fretboard, but none of the live first-person interaction. So the Guitar Hero TV, GHTV, that's what's going to be updated over the course of time with new downloadable content. It's just going to be the videos, the music videos that'll be in the background there. So I guess that's one way to expand on it. And I'm glad that both games, be they Guitar Hero and Rock Band, are really treating these like, okay, these are now platforms. In the past, we used to just, sell, here's new discs and new expansions, and here's a new version of the game with more songs and more features. With this age of, patches and DLC and all that, it's better to have a really solid base and then update that from there. Also, then, the problem with a brand new Guitar Hero and new controller and new charting, it means that the backwards compatibility is out the window. And I think that may be a really big advantage come holiday time for Rock Band, where they're really trying to have all of their songs, or as many as possible, on their downloadable storefront carry over into the new game. Now, they still have to work out the issues with the controllers, and that's working with Microsoft and Sony on basically the first-party controller connection between Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 controllers over the new generation. They still have to work out those, but carrying over all those songs to the same platform, it can't go, cross from Microsoft to Sony, but from 360 to 1 or PS3 to PS4, to bring those over into your new game is going to be a big help, I think, as opposed to starting completely fresh with this new Guitar Hero. So, I mean, are there songs that we're looking forward to, maybe seeing in the game, or one particular way or another that you're leaning in terms of your preference?
I would like to see a lot more hardcore music, if that makes sense. So, I've always been into playing the heavy metal tunes or stuff that takes a lot of effort to actually play. I like things like that. That's what I'm looking forward to doing.
So more Through the Fire and Flames.
Yeah, basically. Stuff like that. Your Metallicas, your Dragon Forces, and stuff like that. And lots of things with solos. That would be fun.
For me, I think it would just be more Stan Bush.
There you go.
No. See, I was never a huge Guitar Hero player and everything, so I guess a lot of the kind of more rock stuff, like Rach was saying, the Dragon Forces, things like that, would definitely be really cool. Plus, the videos of people playing them are amazing. So
yeah, that's true. From this Polygon article, they're saying that Guitar Hero Live will feature hundreds of playable songs from a diverse array of artists, including the Black Keys, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Gary Clark Jr., Green Day, Ed Sheeran, The War on Drugs, The Killers, Skrillex,
Skrillex?
The Rolling Stones, The Lumineers, Pierce the Veil, and Blitz Kids, with many more bands to be announced in the coming months. So, Skrillex.
Hi, Skrillex.
911!
I want to play Freebird.
and have just the crowd the whole time going, Freeman!
Yeah.
No, it should be very interesting. It's exciting to see those games come back for me. I'm looking forward to getting both. It's weird to see, honestly, Guitar Hero Live have a presence on Wii U. I know Activision loves that Wii U money with Skylanders, but I'm not sure if that's the platform you want to get Guitar Hero Live on if you're looking for a longer duration platform with lots of downloadable content. You know, for the basic families, like, they're not going to know how to necessarily attach the external hard drive to get all that space. You know, there's only so much you can do on the 32 gigabytes of the Wii U. So that will be interesting to see how successful that SKU is, at least. Well, anyway.
If it's not canceled.
Right. Or just delayed several months.
Yeah. Delayed an extra year.
Gosh, you know all about that. So yeah, get rocking on the guitar, and we'll be looking forward to playing these more throughout the year. All right, Scott, it's time for you to show us your news.
Oh, man. Has Kojima been planning a media blitz for the past decade with some random head transplant doctor? Who knows that if anyone in the game industry would, it would be Kojima. For those of you that don't know, recently a doctor, Dr. Sergio Canavero, a neurosurgeon in Italy, found his volunteer for the first ever head transplant. And he looks a lot like the doctor shown in the Phantom Pain, the new Metal Gear Solid game.
He's pretty much identical.
Yeah, it's so much. It's crazy.
Pretty identical. So after this came out and everything, the internet, being the internet, put together a conspiracy theory basically saying that this head transplant procedure is part of Kojima's next project and that there's so many similarities and like nods to it. Big Boss's artificial arm looks a lot like the most advanced synthetic arm right now. Before, Kojima had said that his next project will be very taboo, and then they go into how transplants and things of that nature are very taboo in Japan, the passing resemblance, and this doctor, this Sergio Canavero, has done a number of documents referencing the Phantom Pain, when you lose a limb, things like that, and it's just these little bits and pieces, and it's proven that this guy's a doctor. He's done a bunch of medical papers for the past few decades, everything like that. But it's just very interesting how similar the doctor is to the doctor in Phantom Pain and just everything that's been going on. It's very interesting. It's an interesting read, for sure.
It's remarkable. And I went and did a SMYN soapbox on our Show Me Your News YouTube channel, if you want to go check that out. And it kind of presented this, you know, he's done talks at like a TED Talk in Limassol, Cyprus. TED Limassol is like an anagram for solid metals. The data mining in Ground Zeroes on the PC version. And people are doing data mining, and based on that, like, they're coming to the conclusion that Cyprus is the location of where the hospital is for the Phantom Pain. So, like, it's all these little things. And Kojima, back in the day, said that Ian Moore was the name of the actor who lives in Japan that the model's based off of. But, like, even he looks pretty similar, although I think the resemblance is more striking between Dr. Canavero here and the doctor in the game in Phantom Pain. It's wild. And I think, you know, why you're bringing this up is because it's taken a really strange turn with this write-up on Kotaku. But Gabriele Galliani was the writer behind the article, and basically saying that, like, Dr. Canavero here has no idea of all this, like, threatening to sue, had no idea Metal Gear was so big, and wow, I could make a lot of money off of this. And it's like, wait, like, did the internet just ruin this whole thing? Like, is the Phantom Pain going to be able to come out if this lawsuit's a real thing? Or has the Kojima, you know, marketing teeth really gotten into this, and they're planting a fake news story in the games media? Like, it's so weird. It's such a weird story.
Considering how many weird stories there are in Metal Gear overall, I wouldn't be surprised, really, if this was all just to make things look a little bit more flashy for the new Metal Gear coming out.
Kojima had said that the next project, this is his quote, "The next project will challenge a certain type of taboo. If I mess up, I'll probably have to leave the industry," which Kojima has been, like, disappeared all of a sudden. However, I don't want to pass by avoiding that. I turned 47 this year. It's been 24 years since I started making games. Today, I got an ally who would happily support me in that risk. Although it's just one person, for a start, it's good. Could he have been talking about Dr. Canavero? I mean, you never know, and this all is coming to light and everything right after Kojima has pretty much disappeared from media altogether.
Absolutely, and then it goes on with the PT, the demos coming down on PlayStation Store on April 29th. So that combined with like, is Konami really behind this, or have they taken the head Kojima off the project and they're in on it too? Oh my god!
If anyone would do something weird like this, it would be Kojima.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it is not the first time. I mean, he does the whole bait and switch for Metal Gear Solid 2, and no one saw that coming. Mm-hmm. So they can keep their secrets, but wow, it feels like there are so many similarities. There's got to be something here. There's got to be a story. Whether or not it ever gets uncovered, or we wait until after the game is out to see something like this, like, there has to be a story here. Mm-hmm. And not just like, what? I didn't know. I'm going to sue them. 60 euros at, 4 or 5 million? Oh, that will surely cover the cost for my head transplant theory that I'm codenaming Heaven.
Yeah.
And parts of my book are talking about clones. Like, come on.
Part of me really wants it to be like this incredibly intricate conspiracy that Kojima has planned.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, holy crap, how do you plan something like that?
What kind of madness is it? I mean, you look at the guy's, one of his photo shoots where he's got like a head on a platter and he's got some device whose head is like, is this real? Like, come on. Mm-hmm. Are we seriously legitimately talking about transplanting someone's head in 2015? Like, I know 2015, like we're decently into the future of what, sci-fi and all that predicted, but we're nowhere near as far along as, some of those predictions happened. I don't think 2015 would be the year that we start getting successful bits for this. And yeah, they're talking about, it'd need like 4 months in a coma after it's done, and that's if, it rejects or keeps the body and the head, and like, we barely got hoverboards to work, and they're not mass produced, and it's like only certain characteristics make those work. But that was the thing in Back to the Future too. Like, there are gonna be hoverboards in 2015, and like, we kind of got something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, actually, thinking about it from a not video gaming point of view, and maybe just a in quotations normal person out quotations point of view, there would have been a lot more coverage about this head transplant thing going on than what there currently has been. Because besides actually you telling me, Peter, about this head transplant doctor thing, and then people saying, it could tie in with Konami, I have never heard about it before.
Yeah, I mean, it did make international news, but I mean, yeah, it should have been a lot more widespread.
Yeah, really, because like with a massive breakthrough like this, it would be a case of, it would be all over the radio, it would be all over the TV, and in the papers over here. And I'm one of those weird people that reads the paper on the work to every day because there's a free paper from the train station, and it's never been in there or anything like that. It would be reaching so many more platforms than what it currently is.
He'd also be putting his reputation on the line, like, big time. So it's such a weird story. And Scott, you're right. I want to see this resolve itself as like this crazy story that just, you see all the steps and how it all played out, and it'd be an amazing documentary, honestly, to watch.
It would be.
Gosh, if it turns out that like this I'm going to sue Konami bit is serious and like it delays the Phantom Pain, well, fuck, internet. What did we do?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it develops.
Absolutely. I mean, Phantom Pain comes out on September 1st, so we gotta see something until then. I mean, if he comes out at E3, hold the fucking phone.
That would be great.
That would be.
I want that.
That'd be something.
Touche, Konami, touche.
All right, let's get into more headlines. Let's talk about Smash Brothers, because that big patch came out to prepare for the Mewtwo downloadable content, which a lot of fun to play Mewtwo, I must say. It was feels very similar to Melee. He's certainly stronger in some points, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying it's been very similar to Melee.
Yeah, the up smash is really strong. It's a different back throw, but same sort of thing. Scott, you gotten to try Mewtwo yet?
I have. I've played him a little. Definitely fun. Honestly, I've enjoyed more being able to dress my Mii up as Mega Man X.
Of course, yep.
But no, he's a lot of fun. I enjoyed him. I never played Mewtwo too much in Melee, but it's good to have more characters. I mean, I'm never going to turn down more characters in Smash, so...
You're definitely more waiting for Lucas, though.
Oh, I can't wait for Lucas. Yeah, Lucas is my boy.
That's right. So, an individual known as Shiny Quagsire 23 on the Smash Brothers Reddit, who apparently does have a history of going into 3DS data mining, pulled out names of files on the 3DS, and oh boy, it kind of set the Smash Brothers world afire. A blaze? Like a Roy up B from Fire Emblem.
Oh, jeez, those puns.
Like, seriously, would we really need a fourth Fire Emblem sword wielder with Marth, Lucina, Ike, and Roy? And yeah, Robin's a little different. He uses the magic, but basically the idea is there's files here for Mewtwo, for Lucas, which we both know those, Roy with stage and winning music, the Fire Emblem, it's the exact Fire Emblem victory music that we know, and also Ryu. And people are thinking like, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden? Maybe that? Nope, just Street Fighter 2 rips from the Super Nintendo. Like Street Fighter Ryu.
See, I would be happy with Street Fighter Ryu in there. Roy, as you say, we have a lot of Fire Emblem characters in there, and I never really got along playing as Roy in Melee or anything. But Ryu, I think, would be quite interesting. If they do him right, if it is a thing, then he could at least be very good, fast-moving, responsive, and I think that could make for a few fun matches. Basically, kind of like a more intense Little Mac, kind of.
Yeah, it's true.
Little Mac with some kick moves thrown in.
And less side B.
And Hadoukens.
Yes,
no, side B, yeah. He would have Hadoukens. And
yes.
We could think of what his moveset would be. Side B could be Hadouken. Down B would be Tatsumaki Senpukyak.
I think the up B would be...
Shoryuken.
Definitely Shoryuken.
Yeah.
And maybe you charge the B to get in some of the EX moves from Street Fighter 4.
Oh, that's a possibility.
Just to add some speed and power to his attacks. Lucas had something similar in Project M.
I would have said something like that would be like a Final Smash sort of thing. But you get a Smash Ball and he could have a really good finishing move that comes off from that. I would see that being more of that.
A lot of his supers from Street Fighter 4 would just be a bigger Hadouken,
the Shinku Hadouken, yeah.
Or a Metsetsu or something like that.
Or maybe he turns into Akuma.
Or only...
Akuma could be a different skin for him.
Ryu turns into Evil Ryu when he succumbs to the no Hado, or the evil Hado, or whatever.
Yeah. Something like that.
I do remember that, but I just think it would be fun to have Akuma as a different skin, and then have Ken as a different skin.
That would definitely happen.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this is all still rumor, but it's apparently been verified that these files do exist in the 3DS patch as placeholders, almost just waiting there. And it makes you think this was clearly done before stuff like the Smash Brothers ballot. They couldn't obviously have taken anything from that. So maybe we get more DLC after that. Maybe we see something at E3. I guess Sakurai is going to attend this Fire Emblem 25th anniversary sort of concert in Japan, which is in late July. Sakurai's a big Fire Emblem fan, but you wonder, is that maybe the place they would announce Roy? It's so strange. Out of those two characters, I don't think I would have expected either of them to possibly show up as future DLC, if that is indeed the case. Mm-hmm. As long as, if you keep that Hadouken motion, instead of just, side B, maybe, add a little more power to the Hadouken, because, you're actually putting in the right input or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah.
So, gosh, that's something. That was really something I did not expect to see. And yeah, we've seen weird Smash hoaxes in the past. We saw the whole Rayman bit and how that was all fabricated. But this looks to have a sense of maybe legitimacy to it.
We'll see.
Yeah, there was talk about a possible new Vita being trademarked. So people were like, oh, the Vita 3000. And then it turns out like it's really just an update sort of to the trademark. Maybe like they're changing the position of buttons or whatever. I mean, it looks like the actual start and select buttons would be more circular, whereas they're more stretched horizontally ovals right now. But people were just going ape, really. Not ape escape?
Ape shit.
Good games.
Yeah.
Ape
Something like
Escape.
that.
They need to bring back.
But they're going crazy like, oh, what would be in a future Vita? And I just wanted to get your thoughts quickly on like if you wanted a new successor to the Vita, or at least an updated model, like what do you think the Vita needs to just really become the perfect machine?
A re-release of Parappa the Rapper.
There you go.
L2, R2 that aren't on the back touchscreen.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like it's a must for the remote play. If you're going to make that work, you need to have a controller that can properly emulate, or at least like do a DualShock 4 tethering or something like that to it.
Something that doesn't have such crappy connection issues when you're trying to connect to the PS4 and play games on your Vita. Mm-hmm. Would be pretty good as well.
Yeah, and that's weird. Like
They improved that though. I've heard that it's the Vita PS4 connection's improved and can actually do 60 frames per second now.
Right,
Really?
And I think that might only because I'm going to boot up my Vita just for this, but I think there's an option that people discovered on NeoGAF. If you go to the settings on Vita and you scroll all the way down to power save settings, the use Wi-Fi in power save mode option is checked by default, and apparently that like limits the overall top Wi-Fi speed that the system can have. Like it's some limitation in like the chip, so you want not to have that Wi-Fi and power safe mode setting checked. You want to uncheck that. And that'll apparently help the Wi-Fi speeds of the Vita, especially when you're trying to do remote play. But you're right. I mean, the L2 and R2, it's sorely missing. Even if you had to do like a click for, the L3 and R3 in your analog sticks to help with that. I think it needs an HDMI out as well. That's a big help. But then it kind of goes against the whole PlayStation TV device that they released to have a PlayStation Vita-like system connected to the TV, and of course you got to get those proprietary memory cards out of there. Like that's the thing that killed the Vita. Mm-hmm. Is you have really expensive Sony memory cards, like Sony generally tries to do, but yeah, to have memory cards that expensive, like that's why people didn't really buy into the Vita. And if you do have a Vita, you love it. It's a great system, but it's another system that like people buy a lot of games for, but it's just people getting them to buy it in the first place. So Rachel, what is Valve up to in the Steam space?
Well, now it looks like the Steam Workshop are gonna be introducing paid mods, so modifications to your games. So, for example, unlike me, people like to put a lot of mods into their games like Skyrim. I play things vanilla because I'm boring and I don't know how it works, and I'm terrible and everyone should hate me for doing so. But there are a number of different modifications that you can add to your game, and you can enhance the experience, make it more fun, make it more intense, yada yada yada. So a lot of these modifications are going to be just available through the Steam Workshop, and at the moment it looks like, mostly it's Skyrim mods, but there are a lot of other games that can be modded as well. So you're looking at things like Dota and, like Team Fortress, I think, can get modded. I'm not too sure, but probably. I'm pretty vanilla myself when it comes to mods, so when it comes to actually getting professionally made modifications to your games, being able to purchase them in the Steam Workshop, what kind of modifications would you guys want to do? Or get?
I don't really do mods either, and I know like mods are part of the argument where people say, hashtag PC Master Race, but it's not something I do either, though I think the interesting bit with this is that the makers of the mods, it takes work to make modifications, sure, but I think the makers only get 25% of the cut, whereas the rest is going to Valve and it's going to the original game maker, And I guess it's better something than nothing. But some people are like, 25% is too low, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think they should get a little bit more.
It's just nothing I've really delved into, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a case of that you used to just be able to get them for free. So people would just be like, why am I having to pay for this stuff now?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, people have put a lot of time and effort into making these modifications.
They do. It's a fundamental thing of economics where, something is only worth as much as people will pay for it. So if people are going to pay for these mods, then there's a market there.
I think the issue is they've already had issues with people selling mods that use technology and other mods that were developed by other people. So I think that's an issue. Gabe Newell has even come out and said that if it doesn't work out, that if people really aren't a fan of the ability to buy mods, that they'll remove it. So I personally don't think the whole paid mod model will last all that long.
Probably
I think
not.
it might be more of a Kickstarter kind of thing where you will have a lot of crap that people will try and...
Just like the early access. Oh,
exactly. Mm-hmm. You'll have some amazing mods that I think people would have no problem spending $5-10 for, but you will get so much other crap that will dilute it. I don't play with too many mods. I think I turned the moon into the Death Star in my Skyrim game. But I'm for the mods are for not the hardcore players, but the people that want to change their experience, and I don't know if they should have to buy all those things. I mean, then you're getting into like expansions and DLC territory and iffy.
Yeah,
but
certain games like The Killing Floor 2, I think have just outright said like we won't have any like paid mods for our game. Like just we don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting too. Mm-hmm. So good old Square Enix. I mean, they have a lot of games coming out this year. But Scott, what are they doing because of that?
Square's holding their first, I believe it's their first press conference at E3 this year on the Tuesday. Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, so 12 Eastern.
And that's Nintendo's slot, usually. So that's going to be interesting. They're taking the Bethesda route, a press conference sort of thing that they'll host on Twitch and their own website. Oh, man. Like, it's going to be interesting to see, like, for both of those, because it's no precedent that's really been set before. Like, is it going to be more of like a Nintendo Direct model, or is it just something that they're carrying in a theater and it's just they're taking a live feed from it? But wow, yeah, Square Enix. So just early thoughts on what could be announced. Like, what are we expecting? What are we hoping for?
My head's just like, oh my gosh. I don't think we'll see Bravely Second there. I think that will be at Nintendo's booth or Nintendo's stuff. But I mean, we have Final Fantasy 15. We'll probably hear a bit more of some future DLC or patches for Final Fantasy 14. Praying for some Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff.
That's the real hope. I mean, I could expect maybe video, but nothing in terms of release date or anything like that.
Oh, no, none of that. I think we will definitely get a Final Fantasy 15 release day. Mm-hmm. They've already said that there's more games that they haven't announced coming.
I mean, they're with Rise of the Tomb Raider. They're with Deus Ex not Human Revolution, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I think they're also with Just Cause 3. So, like, it's a big year for them. They have things to talk about.
As long as they don't do another, like, Twitch event like they did with Deus Ex, I'm fine with that. That was a very strange one.
That was super weird. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the schedule all falls out. Because, like I said, and that's Nintendo's direct time. At least what it was the past couple of years. Does Nintendo move? Do we have to cover both at the same time? Do we have to take precedence, for Nintendo first, obviously, but then, catch Squares on a replay? It's going to be different. It's going to be different this year.
I think it's either going to be amazing or incredibly disappointing. I think they'll either come out and, like, just drop the mic and there'll be explosions and fangirls screaming everywhere, or there'll be a riot.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out for these, smaller publishers. I mean, Konami 2010... that was kind of like the death nail for them doing E3 shows.
But with Square, it's like they'll hype up something and then it'll be like Spelunky. Or they'll come out and say,
hey, Spelunky was a good game, man.
More information at such and such date. And then just walk out. Like, they'll hype shit and then it will be absolutely nothing.
And here is an update on Final Fantasy VII
Yeah,
for
fuck those
PlayStation
guys.
4. You remember
The
the one
PC
based
port.
off the PC version.
Yeah, that's just I was about to bring that point up. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Square, this year, how about fuck you with Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah. I almost expect a troll again from them. about
Yeah,
that.
it's not
Exactly.
even my favorite Final Fantasy, and I still got pissed off at that.
That's the thing. They think they're doing everyone a favor, and it's usually just making people angrier at Square.
Yeah.
But then they'll come out like a few years ago when they did the announcement trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 just out of the blue. It's like, oh my gosh.
That was amazing. That
Yeah,
was amazing.
Square's bipolar. I'm going to leave it at that. Square's bipolar.
Oh, well, Star Wars Battlefront, that gameplay, well, not even a gameplay trailer, but a trailer using in-engine footage that dropped on the 17th of April at the Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. It looks nice, but we gotta wait to see gameplay.
Yeah.
'Cause that's not gameplay, that's scripted, it's cinematic, you're making it look as good as possible. So yeah, a lot of people cautiously optimistic about that.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a lot of fun though. Hopefully, I've never been a big player of the Star Wars games. I've played some in my time, mostly the one that's a bit like Jade Empire. What was that one again? That was Night of the Academy, Night of the Old Academy.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I played that game a little while back, and then there was a couple other games where it was more like third person, go shooting everything and kill the enemies and win the game. But I've never really followed a lot of Star Wars games, but I'm willing to try some new games if they look good. Just want to see some of that gameplay.
EA's already getting the DLC going with the Battle of Jakku if you pre-order, which is the battle that's supposed to take place before Episode 7, so they're certainly getting that tie-in there. And of course, Microsoft is saying, well, you'll be able to play Star Wars Battlefront first on Xbox One through the EA Access program, which you have to pay for just to play EA games, which is only on Xbox One. But PlayStation does have the marketing tie-in with that game, it seems. And it's really strange to talk about this day and age, like, oh, well, which company has the marketing connection for these big AAA games? And, like, you shouldn't have to think that way. Mm-hmm. But you're thinking, like, oh, well, Arkham Knight is PlayStation. Battlefront is going to be PlayStation. If we think
Destiny
about
was PlayStation.
It was PlayStation, and last year The Division was Microsoft, so maybe for Tom Clancy's The Division will continue to be Microsoft this year. So like it's strange that you have to think in that way, but that's the way it seems to be going, and it's really strange.
I'm kind of bummed that there's not going to be space combat, but I want to see gameplay.
Yeah.
You also have to figure in, because it's DICE servers and EA, the game probably won't be playable until February.
That's true.
I'm definitely excited for it. I personally think it's going to be the big shooter of this year.
Yeah.
Just because people have wanted another Battlefront game for so long. Just make stable servers. Just try your damnedest to make it at least a somewhat steady launch, and I think it'll be an amazing game. I'm excited for it. I want to try it, but I definitely want to see gameplay of it.
Yeah. And here's the thing with it, too, is that now that they've locked down the November 17th date to tie it in with the movie and all that, they can't delay it. Like, you kind of have to stick to that. They have to know how far along they are in. They can't miss it. They can't mess it up because you have to have that marketing tie-in. So they've kind of backed themselves in a corner, and we'll be interested to see how that develops. Tony Hawk is apparently coming back at E3.
Oh boy.
But the caterer to the party that was apparently held to, I guess, people kind of more on the inside, maybe it was the development team or something like that, takes a picture of his catering work, and it says Tony Hawk 5 in the background on a projector. It says apparently it's a working title, but then Tony Hawk's like, whoop, I guess our game got leaked, so he posted a video on Instagram, and it's straight out of the Pro Skater select screen with one of his friends, just kind of, waving his body there, and just different costume changes. We are probably getting Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 at E3 this year.
Okay.
That's gonna be something.
Did you guys even play the old Tony Hawk games? We've never really.
Scott would be excited.
Yeah. Yeah,
my 10-year-old self would be pretty excited for a
I
game
think
like
Pro Skater 4 was last in 2002.
Damn.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah, lots of Tony Hawk games since
Freshman
then.
in
But
high school. Oh, yeah.
wow. Man, we're old.
Yeah, we are. Next year's 10-year high school reunion.
Good Lord.
I was like 12, 13 years old.
And then finally, as we mentioned before at the top of the show, PT. At this point, if you're listening on YouTube, it's probably, at this point, it's already off PlayStation Store. But April 29th, it's gone. And then there are people saying, like, there's a quote going around the internet, maybe, possibly from Guillermo del Toro, saying that Silent Hills probably won't happen. It's like, stop.
I want Silent Hills so bad.
Konami, how do you mess this up? You get Norman Reedus, a partnership, you get Kojima, you get Del Toro, like, and you ruin this. Like, I hope there's more to the story and that isn't the last that we'll see. But at the same time, PT is, it's a limited trial. It's a demo. Like, it's supposed to be up there, I guess, for a limited time. So maybe there's the truth in that this is now the time that it comes down.
What if PT's just replaced by, like, a head? It's just a head without a body. You're like, what?
And then it'll be, oh, look, it tied in from the doctor with a head transplant.
PT actually stands for physical therapy that the person has to go through after he gets his head transplanted. What? Big boss prediction.
All right, so Scott, what have you been playing recently?
I've been playing a Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, Pillars of Eternity.
That's the RPG on PC, right?
Right, that's the one that was kickstarted by Obsidian Games.
Well, that's right, yeah.
That's been getting, it's a lot like the Baldur's Gate games and those Infinity Engine kind of RPGs, so that's a lot of fun, been enjoying that. Xenoblade Chronicles, really good. I'm definitely impressed on how well it's running on the 3DS, the new 3DS.
I heard the models were kind of scaled down.
Oh, they are, and the textures are kind of wonky, but just the size of an RPG, the open world aspect of Xenoblade, it's impressive for a handheld RPG.
Only on new 3DS?
Only on new 3DS. And then yesterday I played through a bunch of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep in the 2.5 HD collection, so just getting my RPG on.
There you go. Yeah, when Rachel comes over, and we kind of have this big list of games that we want to go and play through, and ones that she's missed out on. She has the Kingdom Hearts games.
Yep,
first on her list.
I very much am, because I've always watched them being played. I've never actually played one myself, but I'm a big fan of Square Enix games, like Final Fantasy, and I love Disney, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Scott, you think the essential ones that, obviously can't play like every Kingdom Hearts game. There are certain ones that just shouldn't be played, but you think just the essentials are Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Birth by Sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say also Dream Drop just for the ties into the new game coming out.
Right. I wonder, though, what's going to happen. Could you imagine if Square Enix at that conference is like, and we're going to make that an HD re-release game, so...
Oh, they are. I think that they're going to have like a Kingdom Hearts complete collection for PS4 and Xbox One that will have 1.5 and 2.5 together and Dream Drop.
That would make sense. But we'll see if Square Enix follows sense.
We'll see. I think it's going to be like a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3, and then it's going to transition into, before you play Kingdom Hearts 3, catch up with the Xehanort Saga, or whatever the heck it's called, with Kingdom Hearts Complete. Because they're already re-releasing the 10-10-2 HD collection on PS4 now, so...
That's right. Yep, that's absolutely true. Rachel, what are you playing?
I've not been playing a lot, really, because I've been doing mostly preparing for moving to the US. I have not really had much time to play games. So, as per usual, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth has been on my list, and the less said about that, the better, because I play it all the fucking time. And Animal Crossing New Leaf, because I play that game too, I guess. I finished off Virtue's Last Reward. That was really fun.
Ooh, yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that game. That was really fun. I definitely play it more for the story than the puzzles.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And we need Zero Escape 3. Like that,
yeah,
that's gotta
we
happen.
do. Yeah, it needs to happen, because, my god, does that game need a sequel.
Absolutely. I'm really happy that you did finish that one.
Yeah, I need to start playing through some of the other games that you give me, actually. That would be a good idea.
Pokemon.
Pokemon, well, I've already played Soul Silver. I will play that again at some point, but it's just a case that if I start that game off, I'm not going to be able to put it down for a long time, and I've already hunted around for so many legendaries, so I don't know what else I can really achieve.
Explore the world, the story, it's lots of possibilities.
That's true. Super Mario 3D Land is staring at me in the face right now, though.
Yes, absolutely. Well, like you, I've been playing Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
You've beat Mega Satan twice!
I have beaten Mega Satan, holy shit!
Twice!
I got good runs finally, and
I'm so proud of you.
aw, thanks. It was on normal mode, so
Oh, I'm kind of proud of you.
I don't play hard mode. But the second time I did beat Mega Satan untouched, so that was pretty good. So
nice. But yeah, eventually, babe, hard mode.
Eventually, and there'll be 15 to show. Playing some more baseball games. Yeah, it's a good game. I really like it. With the start of the baseball season happening, they're getting to the point where some of those faces and just how it looks, and especially when you see screenshots of that, like it's getting close to Uncanny Valley, which is exciting and a little bit terrifying. We got to see it, carry over to certain other sports games. Like I want to see a legit NHL game this year and not a stripped down one for parts. EA Sports, let's get on that. But this might be the year for some sports games. And also been playing a bit of Smash Brothers for Wii U, but not really playing matches. I went to a nearby thrift store and found a GameStop GameCube controller for $8. And if you know about those, that means it has a turbo button. So you tape down the A button, you go to your control settings, change the A button to your special attack, you go to the target blast, and you do stage 2. And Ganondorf, hold down that A button, tape it, turbo. Ganondorf trying to farm for custom moves. That has begun. That's going to be quite the procedure to get all those custom moves on Smash Brothers for Wii U. So, like you, I've been busy with a lot of things. I really need to get back into gaming things. I'm looking forward to playing Assassin's Creed, the Chronicles for China, because that was for free. Because I was one of those suckers who had the season pass for Unity, so got that for free. And then got to get to Persona Q. Got to do that.
Yes, you need to play that game.
Gotta find my Persona Q.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, got to do that for sure.
Gotta find those emeralds.
Recently, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Scott recommends that one, so do check that out on new 3DS. Mortal Kombat X,
The trailer has System of a Down in it.
Yes, it does.
It's fun. My mom got it for me for my birthday, and it's fun. It's pretty. It feels a bit slower than Mortal Kombat 9, and I think I prefer the story mode in 9 more to 10, but still a definitely enjoyable game. Yeah, if you like Mortal Kombat, definitely check it out.
But don't pay for the DLC for easy fatalities. Good Lord. That's almost like you're not sure if Mortal Kombat's just mocking the system or really actually trying to see how many people will buy things like that. Just buy the tokens that you can earn in-game to spend and perform fatalities without knowing the combo button for that. That's ridiculous. It's silly. But at the same time, mockery. And Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, it's a side-scrolling 2.5D sort of line art style. Very reminiscent, I think, when you look at it, of Mark of the Ninja. Sort of really based heavily on stealth, which you can argue some Assassin's Creed games have gotten away from. Reviews say it's a little disappointing. I think the most disappointing thing about it is that it's a Xiao Jun, female assassin. Her homeland in China has been attacked by Templars, and so she goes west to Europe to meet one Ezio Auditore da Firenze. And the voice that they got for Ezio has been described in certain places as a Chinese-Russian vampire.
Oh, God.
Well, I have to check that out now.
Which is nowhere near like the Roger Craig Smith sort of interpretation. Which is, of course, flawless and amazing, and I guess they just didn't decide to do that. But yes, the female assassin. Female assassin, which I guess they maybe didn't need to spend more money on those animations. That joke will never get old, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's going to be something I'm looking forward to checking out. It's apparently a 5-hour campaign. It's going to be part of a India and a Russia Chronicles later down the line. Just little mini stories throughout the Assassin's Creed lineage. So that'll be fun. Let's wrap up the show with YouTube video recommendations, though. I'll just recommend episode 26 of the Questionably Roundtable. We're back in full function on ShowMeYourNews.com at the SMYN network, and with alternating between this show talking about the gaming news, and then Joe and Ben also joining us on the Questionably Roundtable, and we're talking about anything, including gender bending. So, interesting.
Kind of like water bending, but with your penis.
Yeah, more or less. So go check that out, episode 26 at QRT Show on YouTube.
I recommend David Hasselhoff's True Survivor, the title track from the amazingly cheesy 80s action movie spoof, Kung Fury, that's coming out.
I've seen bits of that.
I guess it's coming out or being released for free online like May 28th, like the end of May. Hitler's a kung fu master, and some kung fu cop has to go back in time to kill him, but gets sent back too far and meets dinosaur riding Vikings with machine guns that summon Odin or Thor.
God.
It's awesome.
It sounds great.
Some guy hacks time with a power glove.
It's so bad.
He plays a keytar.
Yep. Why wouldn't he?
Of course. It looks hilarious, and I would definitely recommend. And David Hasselhoff does the title track "True Survivor" from it, and you can also find the actual official movie trailer also connected to that. So,
David Hasselhoff, a big deal in Germany. Was it, Rachel, like the what was that one movie you were showing me clips from with like the
Kung Fu Hustle?
Kung Fu Hustle, that's the one.
Kung Fu Hustle is a movie we have to watch because
Yes.
one, its dub in English is fucking amazing. It's just one of the funniest things that you'll ever hear. And it's kind of like a Kung Pao. It's making fun of traditional movies like that, but my god, is it amusing.
Was it like Ricky-O, the story of Ricky?
Not as bad. Not as bad. Still pretty bad.
Well, darling, tell me about your YouTube recommendation.
Last night, I went on a bit of a old commercial binge, and we didn't have these over here, but the Old Spice commercials were certainly a big thing over there.
Yep.
And one of the ones that I just had to go buh at was the Terry Crews Old Spice Muscle Music advert. So I'd recommend giving that a watch. It's just a little over a minute long, but it still leaves quite an impression on you.
Yeah, we also had the Isaiah Mustafa as the actor who's like, I'm on a horse.
Oh, that
those
guy.
are amazing.
Yeah. So Old Spice, there was quite the stretch where they had an interesting run, and God, now with the ones that they have with like the singing moms and dads, like, my son is a man and he smells like one.
That was beautiful, Pete. That brought a tear to my eye.
That was absolutely beautiful, babe.
It's so weird. Well, let's wrap up the show. Scott, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
We really do appreciate you coming in a time of need where computers are amok, fish are being caught. We'll have Joe and Ben back next time in a couple weeks, and that'll be where we reveal our E3 yes or no questions for our contest this year. Yeah, we're doing that. Again, we're having the big call-in show. But we'll reveal the questions. We'll give you a couple weeks to fill out those answers. And Scott, E3, man.
Man.
It's going to be fun times.
Yes.
We all have to get together, have beers, watch E3.
Oh,
That's pretty much the 3-day span. Well, 4 days or so, because I'll probably come over that Sunday the 14th, so I'm there in the morning.
Yeah.
And then it will just be drinking and horrible food choices for the next 3 or so days after that.
Yeah. It sounds good. I should hopefully be in America for that time.
That's right. We're hoping, keeping our fingers crossed, and have recording reactions, and we'll do a compilation of those, and it's going to be bigger and better than our coverage last year. We're looking forward to that. So with that, I am Peter.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Scott.
Go follow him on Twitch, Solid Snake 120. Get him some subscribers. Get over 600.
5 away from 600. Woo!
Do it.
Sanjay!
We're out. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Find out more about this show and other podcasts at the Show Me Your News Network, where you can embrace your inner nerd over at ShowMeYourNews.com. Fans can interact with other SMYNJas at the friendliest community on the net at ShowMeYourNews.com/forum.
Show me your news.
Pete, have you watched the video with Obama's press correspondence speech with Luther, the anger translator?
I heard that Luther made an appearance, but
It was pretty damn funny.
I have not seen the video yet. I'm gonna miss Obama.
Huh? Sorry, what's going on?
The president has this
Election?
White House correspondence dinner every year,
Yeah.
where he usually gets a comedian to go up, and one of the more famous ones is Stephen Colbert. It's just ripping everything apart. But yesterday, Keegan Michael Key as Luther, the angry presidential translator, was there. And it's a bit where Obama's all like, "Oh, we got to do things fairly, and we got to," putting it very matter of factly, all politically correct, all of that stuff. And then Luther's kind of on his shoulder, like basically the translator, just being like the angry black man.
Okay.
And so, he actually, but usually in that show, Obama's played by Jordan Peele, the other part of that duo. And so now, I guess it was Obama and that whole situation. So I'm looking forward to watching that. Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. Yeah, that's a better headline.